Let's be honest. You are an experienced man. You have been around the block and most likely have seen the inside of more than a few bedrooms. You know more about technique than the authors of some manuals, and your stamina commands respect. But if you are here, it means that deep down you feel one thing. Something is wrong. Something has subtly broken. Intimacy increasingly resembles a well-oiled mechanism where you are a skilled operator and she is a grateful but passive participant. Her moans have become too correct, her orgasms too fast and polite, as if she's afraid of tiring you out. That wild, unpredictable passion that once drove you both crazy has vanished. Invisible enemies have taken up residence in her bed, right next to you. I call them phantoms. These are not lovers and not your rivals. These are ghosts woven from psychology, routine, and silent grievances that nullify all your efforts and even the most sophisticated technique. Today, we will drag 3 of them into the light. We will dissect them and strip them of their power over your bedroom. And at the very end, I will reveal the main, 4th phantom to you, the most insidious and powerful one, which is most likely the root cause of everything. Understanding its nature will change absolutely everything for you. Before we start dissecting the first phantom, I have a simple request for you. Hit the like button if this topic already resonates with you, and if you are here for the first time and are not afraid to look the truth in the eye, subscribe, because it is only going to get deeper from here. And before we begin, I am very interested to know the wisdom of our audience. Write in the comments, how old are you? Absolutely anonymously, just a number. Let's see at what stage of life we most often look for answers to the main questions. The first phantom, the phantom of routine. This is the quietest and most invisible killer of passion. He does not burst into the bedroom with noise. He seeps into it through the cracks of your daily life. The phantom of routine is when sex becomes just another item on the schedule, somewhere between the evening news and brushing your teeth. It is when she knows in advance how you will touch her, in what sequence you will caress her, what words you will say. Her body might be here, next to you, but her mind has long been asleep, lulled by the deadly lullaby of predictability. The great connoisseur of the human soul, old man Freud, spoke of the pleasure principle. He claimed that our inner animal nature constantly seeks discharge, novelty, and satisfaction. Routine is the antithesis of this principle. It does not create the tension that requires discharge. It offers no novelty to excite the imagination. Psychologically, predictability is the graveyard where desire is buried. If a woman can predict your every move long before you make it, her libido simply finds no reason to wake up. This is not philosophy. This is pure neurochemistry. The hormone dopamine is responsible for our desire, anticipation, and excitement. It is produced not so much the pleasure itself, but the expectation of it, and most importantly, the element of surprise. When you do something unpredictable, pleasant, something that breaks the pattern, you literally inject a dose of this natural drug into her brain. Her neural circuits rejoice, creating a strong link between you and the sensation of pleasant excitement. Routine, on the contrary, starves her dopamine system, day after day, week after week, and one day the system simply shuts down as unnecessary. Let's look at 2 very simple scenarios. Man number 1, let's call him Mr. Right. He gives her expensive perfume for her birthday and 101 roses for their anniversary. He always remembers important dates. He is as reliable as a Swiss bank. When he hands her a gift, her internal reaction is something like this. Oh, today is the anniversary. Flowers. How nice. He remembers. She is grateful, but not aroused, because this is a ritual, not an impulse. This is the fulfillment of obligations, not a manifestation of living feeling. Now, man number 2, let's call him the alive one. He might forget the anniversary of their first kiss, but on his way home from work, he suddenly turns into a small cheese shop because last week she casually mentioned that she wanted to try that strange cheese with lavender.
He brings her this small, ridiculous piece of cheese, and her internal reaction is completely different. That exact cheese? Did he remember? Amidst all his business, meetings, and problems, did he keep this little thing in his head because it is important to me? In that moment, he is not giving her cheese, he's giving her irrefutable proof of her exclusivity and importance in his world. He shows that she lives in his thoughts not on a schedule, but constantly. And it is this man who will be desired in the evening because he has already aroused her brain, the most important erogenous organ. You might object, but stability is good. Women appreciate reliability. And you would be absolutely right. But here lies the greatest male mistake, confusing stability with predictability. Stability is the foundation. It is her confidence that you will not betray her, will not leave, that she can lean on you. This creates safety. But passion does not live in safety. Passion is a fire that burns on this foundation. And for the fire to burn, you need to constantly throw new, dry logs into it. Small signs of attention, spontaneous gestures, unexpected compliments. The phantom of routine extinguishes this fire, leaving you sitting in the dark on a cold, albeit very reliable, foundation. The second phantom, the phantom of the mechanic. This phantom is much more insidious. It arrives precisely when you are, on the contrary, trying your hardest. You have read all the manuals, studied all the maps of erogenous zones, and are ready to apply this knowledge in practice. You touch her like a technician, handling a complex device, sequentially pressing the right buttons in hopes of getting the desired result. You are focused, you are effective, you are flawless. But that is exactly the problem. You have turned the temple of her body into an assembly line, and yourself into a foreman. You are working on her, not feeling her. Carl Jung, another titan of thought, spoke of the existence within every man an inner female part, the anima. This is not some mysticism. It is your capacity for intuition, for empathy, for sensing the world rather than just analyzing it. When you approach her body with nothing but an instruction manual in your head, you switch off your anima. You act from a purely masculine logical principle, which is great for building a bridge, but disastrous for creating intimacy. The ability to truly caress a woman is not a set of techniques. It is a dialogue with her body that you conduct through your own intuition, through your inner woman. She wants you not to service her, but to feel her.
Let's forget the word technique for a moment and replace it with art. Imagine that her body is a precious Stradivarius violin. You can, of course, run the bow across the strings with the correct pressure and at the right angle, as written in the textbook, and the violin will indeed make sounds, but there will be no music. Music is born when the violinist stops thinking about the rules and starts listening to the instrument itself. He feels the slightest vibration of the wood, the response of the string. He becomes one with the violin. That is what her body expects from you. It wants you to stop being a performer and become a co-creator of her pleasure. What does this mean in practice? It means your hands must learn not only to take, but to listen. Before you start stimulating the obvious points, just place your palms on her stomach, on her hips, on her shoulders. Do nothing. Just feel the warmth of her skin. Feel how she breathes. Let your hands become an extension of your attention. You will be surprised how much her body will tell you in this silence. You will feel where she holds tension and where she is relaxed, where she unconsciously wants you to touch and which zone is better to avoid for now. And only then does the dance begin. Instead of mechanically rubbing the clitoris, try exploring the entire vulva like an undiscovered continent. With your fingertips barely touching, go over the outer lips, then the inner ones. Use different pressure, from light as a feather to confident and firm. Change the rhythm, from slow, languid strokes to fast and teasing touches. Use not only your fingers, but the back of your hand, your knuckles, even your breath.
blow warm air on her clitoris, and then touch it with a wet tongue. The contrast of temperatures and textures will drive her crazy. This is no longer stimulation. This is the creation of a whole symphony of sensations. The most common mistake spawned by the phantom of the mechanic is haste and fixation on the goal. A man thinks, I need to get her wet as quickly as possible to get to the main event. This approach kills everything at the root. First, you miss a whole world of pleasures that lie beyond vaginal sex. Second, she feels your impatience. She feels not like an object of desire, but like an intermediate stage that needs to be passed quickly. It is humiliating and instantly blocks arousal. The result is that same log syndrome, where the woman is passive and indifferent, and the man who made the mistake makes a second one. He blames her, thinking she is frigid or doesn't want him, but in reality, he simply didn't give her body the time and attention to wake up and sing. It is precisely for such depth that people come to this channel. We do not hand out cheap advice, we seek the essence. If this resonates with you, the best way to support our work is with your subscription. And for those who want to not just support, but become a true patron of our cause, there is the Super Thanks button and the option to become a channel member. Your support allows us to create content like this. The third phantom, the phantom of silence. This phantom is the loudest, even though it is called the phantom of silence. It is born where communication breaks down. And I am not talking about words. I am talking about that silent dialogue that should occur between your bodies every second of intimacy. This phantom appears when you stop hearing her, not with your ears, but with your skin, your muscles, your entire being. You immerse yourself in your own rhythm, in your own sensations, in your task to bring her to orgasm, and you completely lose connection with her. You are no longer together. There is you, there is her, and between you lies a chasm of silent misunderstanding.
Jung suggested that there is a certain collective unconscious, a layer of instincts and archetypes common to all people. Body language is the manifestation of this ancient heritage. It is a universal language that we all understand without translation, unless we drown it out with the noise of our own ego and thoughts. When her body arches towards you, when her breathing becomes erratic, when her fingers dig into your back, these are not just reflexes. These are words she is shouting to you in this ancient language. Yes, more, just like that. Don't stop. And conversely, when her body freezes, when she holds her breath, when her hips instinctively try to pull away, these are also words. No, not that. Too fast. Too painful. You don't feel me. There is an amazing mechanism in our brain, mirror neurons. Simply put, these are cells that activate when we observe another person's action and make us feel something similar. This is the basis of empathy. When you truly look at her during sex, when you are tuned in to her, your mirror neurons switch on. You begin to literally physically feel echoes of her pleasure or discomfort. Synchronization in sex is not mysticism. It is the well-tuned operation of this neurobiological mechanism. But it works only under one condition. Your attention must be directed at her, not at the friction counter in your head. Let's compile a small dictionary of her body. Loud, sharp moans do not always mean the peak of pleasure. Sometimes it is a sign of discomfort or even pain. But a quiet, deep, guttural moan, similar to purring, is almost always a sign of deep, genuine pleasure. Pay attention to her pelvis. If she actively moves it towards you, grinds back, catches your rhythm, you are on the right track. If her pelvis is passive or she tries to increase distance, that is a stop signal. Look at her hands. Relaxed hands wandering over your body are a good sign. Hands clenched into fists or lying limply along her body are bad. Her breathing is the main barometer. Even and calm means you are still at the very beginning of the journey.
Frequent, shallow, erratic means you are approaching the summit, and a short holding of breath right before the explosion is a signal that the last step remains. The most destructive strategy spawned by the phantom of silence is turning sex into an interrogation. A man, unsure of himself and having lost connection, starts bombarding his partner with questions. Does it feel good? How about this? Do you like it? And now? At this moment, a catastrophe occurs. He yanks her out of the world of sensations and forces her to switch on her brain, analyze, find words. All the magic evaporates. She is no longer a goddess of passion, she is a respondent in a sociological survey. There is also the opposite extreme, the silent bulldozer, a man who pays absolutely no attention to her reactions and stubbornly pushes his own line, confident that he knows how it should be done. Both approaches are equally destructive because they lack the main thing, dialogue. True intimacy is a dance where partners do not speak but lead and follow, feeling each other with every nerve ending. And now we have come to the most important part. We have banished the phantom of routine, chased away the spirit of mechanics, and learned to hear through the silence. But even if you do all this perfectly, there is one last phantom, the one that stands behind the backs of all the others, the one that is their father and master. And now I will reveal his name to you.
The fourth phantom, the phantom of your reflection. This is the cruelest and most honest of all the phantoms, because this phantom has your face. All the problems we discussed are just symptoms, but the disease is in you. The main enemy of her passion, her openness, her orgasm is not your poor technique, not your inattention, and not your haste. It is your own attitude toward sex, hidden even from yourself. These are the secret, unconscious motives that you bring with you into bed. Your shadow, as Jung would say, those parts of your personality that you yourself do not want to admit to. A woman feels this not with her mind, but with her whole being, at the level of instincts. If you come to bed to assert yourself after a hard day where your boss humiliated you, she will feel it. She will sense that she is being used as a machine to boost self-esteem. If you come to relieve tension, like going to the gym to blow off steam, she will feel it. She will feel not like a desired woman, but like a treadmill. If you come to fulfill a marital duty because it's been a while, she will feel it, and she will feel boredom and irritation. She will never, ever be able to fully open up if she subconsciously understands that you desire not her, but the resource she can give you, validation of your masculinity, relaxation, and orgasm. Freud defined libido not just as sexual desire, but as an all-encompassing life energy. Well, her life energy cannot connect with yours if your energy is directed not at her, but inward, to service your own ego. She wants to see in your eyes not a controller, not a performer, not a beggar, but a man seized by genuine naked passion. A man who in that moment desires her specifically, with her wrinkles, with her mood, with her history. A man who himself gets high from the process and not just works for her result. And here it is, the main secret that is so hard to accept. The most powerful aphrodisiac for a woman is not your perfect technique, it is your own sincere, total arousal. She wants to see that you are losing your head from the smell of her hair, that you are going crazy over the curve of her hip, that the sound of her breath drives you mad. She wants to feel not like the cause of your effort, but the cause of your madness. For this, you must allow yourself to be vulnerable. Stop controlling everything. Throw away the instructions and checklists. Just be in the moment. Be a man who wants a woman until he trembles, not to make love, but to create it here and now, surrendering to the process without reserve.
When she sees this genuine, uncontrollable desire in your eyes, her body will respond with a force you haven't even dreamed of, because the phantom of your reflection will finally leave, and in its place will appear a living, real, desired man.
So, we have come face to face with the four horsemen of the apocalypse of your bedroom. The phantom of routine, which kills desire with predictability. The phantom of the mechanic, which turns passion into work. The phantom of silence, which creates a chasm between your bodies. And the most important one, the phantom of your reflection, which replaces genuine desire with hidden motives. True intimacy begins where performance ends and total presence begins. It is not difficult. It just requires honesty with yourself and the courage to be alive, not just correct. And then technique will become not an end in itself, but merely an obedient tool in the hands of your shared passion. I have shared my vision with you, but I know that the wisdom of this community is boundless. Write in the comments, which of these four phantoms have you encountered in your life most often? Your story could help hundreds of other men. I will personally pin the deepest and most honest comments to the top. And of course, if you consider this work important, your subscription and sponsorship support are the best way to say thank you to us and allow the channel to grow further.